In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the axle peg for the train car project in Inventor. This is what our finished part is going to look like. So I am going to make this screen a little bit smaller so we can be working alongside our tutorial here. So I will start off by making a new part file and starting a 2D sketch on the XY plane. Now, if you notice, this part is a little bit different than the others. You do not have a section view, even though it is a cylindrical object. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a section view from this part. Now, the way that you're going to do this is try to visualize this piece cut in half, and then remember that half cut in half again. And what you're going to be left with is a shape that looks something like this. So I have this flat piece here. I know that because of this 0.031 dimension. It dips down, it comes out. We have the thickness of my screw. That comes back out, and we're going to, remember, we're cutting it in half, so this is going to be a straight line all the way up to the center point. And then we're going to come up here, and that's going to be another straight line because my front face is flat according to this note here. Similar to some of the other parts that you may have already made, we're working with a spherical radius. So we know that the center of this arc has to lie on the rotation axis of the object. So I'm going to start off by creating a profile of the shape. Again, this is my section view. Right click and say OK. And we don't want that. And I'm going to save this arc for a little bit later on in the tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this front face. It has a diameter of 0.25 inches and it's flat. So since we are working with our section view, I know that has to be divided by 2 to get the radius. So this will be 0.125. I know that the distance from the front face of my axle peg to the back of the head is 0.125 inches, so I can dimension that. And I also know that this little thickness here, that little bridge, is 0.31 inches, so I can dimension that line to say 0.031 inches. Now, the dimension that a lot of people tend to forget is its diameter of 0.422. So from the widest part of the head to the other side has a diameter of 0.422 inches. So all we're going to do is we're going to divide that by 2 since we're working with the section. Go from the top to our rotation axis, type in 0.422 divided by 2, or you can just type in 0.211 and press enter, and we're good to go. So before we get to the spherical radius, we want to actually dimension the thickness of the screw. Now the thickness can be found in this note here. So we have 1/4, which refers to 1/4 inch, 20 UNC times 1 with a 1/4 inch offset. So this means that the diameter of the screw is 1/4 inch, 20 UNC refers to the type of thread, and times 1 is the length of the screw, which is 1 inch, and a 1/4 inch offset refers to the spacing from the head of the screw to where the thread starts. The threads in Inventor, this 20 UNC, you don't need to worry about it. It's all already preloaded in Inventor. You do not need to make it by hand. So let's go ahead and dimension the thickness of the screw to be 0.125. It already exists because it's in line with this front head. So we can go ahead and dimension the length of the screw to be 1 inch. And we're all set to actually make this radius. So what I like to do is I like to go to my arc tool and connect this point to this point and just bow it out a little bit. Right click and say OK. And all I need to do now is go to dimension and dimension that arc so it has a radius of 0.236 inches and press enter. And you're going to notice that the center of that arc falls right on my rotation axis, and that's exactly what I want. So at this point, I'm ready to right click and finish my 2D sketch and revolve it. So I'm going to go to my create tab, go to revolve. It selects my profile for me, so I'm going to just select my axis. And we're on to the next part. So while I'm in this view, I'm going to go ahead and add my chamfer. So 45 degrees, that's 0.03 inches. So I'll go to chamfer, Click on my bottom edge, make sure I type in 0.03 inches first, say OK. And then go back around to the front of my part, and that's where we can start working with this hex socket. So my hex is referring to the hexagon, 6 sides. It's a socket, and it's 5 32nds of an inch across the flats. So obviously with the hexagon, there are flat sides. So that just means they're going to dimension from flat to flat, and it's 0.111 inches deep. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. We're going to start a new 2D sketch on that flat surface. And Inventor makes it super easy. You usually see a rectangle tool here. Go to the drop down and click on Polygon. Hexagon has 6 sides. Go ahead and type in 6. Align your cursor with the origin. You have a beautiful hexagon. So let's dimension that. 5 32nds of an inch across the flats. So just type in 5/32, press enter. I'm going to finish the 2D sketch. I'm going to extrude that back. So it cuts into the part 0.111 inches. Say OK. And now we're ready for the thread. If you look at the note here, we have a 20 UNC with a 1/4 inch offset. This is super easy. Go up here to the Modify tab under your 3D Model tab here. Go to Thread. It might take a little bit to load, but all we need to do is click on the face that we want our thread on, and you want to make sure it's not full length. So before I do that, what I like to do is actually uncheck full length and specify that my offset is 0.25 inches. Then go and select my face. Now you're going to notice, depending on where you orient your cursor, your thread is going to change. So obviously we want our mouse over here, so our thread is offset from the head of the screw. Click OK. Go over to the Specification tab, and we actually have this thread information already loaded for us. So size 1/4 or 0.25, 1/4 inch, 20 UNC. Right hand, left hand does not matter. So we're going to say OK. And that is your axle peg. So let's go ahead and check our volume by going up here to File, iProperties, Physical, and Update. And you're going to get a volume of 0.060. So if you want to check your work that way and you got this correct, then you are good to go. Thank you for watching.